Hey everyone, welcome to another video. It's been a while since I actually made a video myself, other than uploading an old one that I've had on my phone for a while that I wanted to get rid of, or just a crap short video, so I decided to take the time to make an actual video today. Obviously, if you don't know, newer phones have non-removable batteries, which means that once your battery goes dead, it's oops, game over. But today, I'm going to be showing the 3 phones I have and would possibly recommend for those who are A, on a budget, and 2, who want a removable battery in 2023. So over here, I actually have some extra batteries. And I have another phone with a removable battery, but its battery's not compatible with any of these. It's a broken LG that was given to me. Anyway, let's just start. So for starters, most people are probably not going to want a nuggety old phone like, well, my S3, which I'm not gonna dig up, but that runs Android 4. Anyway, enough fooling around. For those who want a kind of like a modern Android experience, at least, or at least semi-modern, one of the first phones I would probably recommend for you if you're on a cheap budget is the LG Tribute LS676 or 767. I forgot which way around what it was. Let me check the settings real quick. I was right the first time. Okay. Anyway, this thing runs Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow, which will run quite a few apps. And in responsiveness, it's pretty good for home screen, basic stuff. But I do notice that it can be kind of sluggish when it runs Discord, and you will also need a third-party YouTube client. Not now, but very soon. Well, at least as of recording this. But the last version of YouTube that supports on Android 6 and 7, because Google's greedy and wants people to upgrade, and they forced cut off, whatever. Anyway. But if you want to watch YouTube, you're going to need to get something called NewPipe, which it's not hard to get, but you have to find their official site. And NewPipe runs pretty well because it is a lightweight client. It's basically just a dumbed down version of you going on the browser. Minecraft. I actually ported this over from one of my friend's old phones, which I made a video about, and he still had Minecraft PE. So then I put it on my mom's S3, then copied the files over. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. But this old version runs fine. I do know for a fact the latest version of Minecraft will run on this. Is it laggy? God, yes it is. Is it possible though? Also yes. But enough of that. I didn't really research any of the specs for any of these. So I just kind of just willy-nilly testing it because who cares about all that stuff? Anyway, sorry about that. My brain died for a second. Anyway, but yeah, the LG Tribute is a pretty decent phone. I'm not sure how good the battery is, because this is like 8 years old, I think. My brother's wife is the one who gave this to me. They've had this for 8 years. She did replace the battery, I think she said like 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't remember, but the battery still does kind of suck. If you're using lightweight or even medium weight applications, though, the battery will be okay. I'll usually get about like 2.5, 3, maybe almost 4 hours out of it. But I've definitely noticed that even playing the old version of Minecraft or Discord 3, whatever, and even YouTube sometimes, but chatting apps, phone calls, I don't think phone calls will be too bad if the screen's off, but for chatting apps like Discord, Among Chat, Playhouse, Tia, 3, at least all the apps I use. Not Lobby, because Lobby shut down, but I still have it because I like it. I like to look back at it. God, I'm getting off track. Anyway, for chatting apps, this thing is terrible. Absolutely diabolical. It lasts like an hour and a half. Not well, actually, no. Sometimes if the brightness is on like medium, it'll last like 50 minutes and it's just gonna dip. So if you do have one of these or decide to get one of these, if you're tired of the overly expensive non-removable batteries, or even the slightly cheaper non-removable battery phones like the Samsung A series or some kind of other phone, I don't know, maybe an Oppo, I don't know. Anyway, but this is a decent phone, but obviously it's not really for everyone. And it's I guess you would say an average phone, but at least it runs Android 6. For sound wise, it is a single mono speaker, and it doesn't sound the best in terms of bass, which is fine. This phone came out long ago. But also, this thing's camera is actually kind of impressive. Now, this one's a little impacted, so I can't really do a test because I was screwing around and yeah. Because, well, plus she's had this for years and yeah, she kind of left it in the sun at one point and it kind of messed up the camera. Whatever. Anyway, enough of exposing her backstory. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, this thing's okay. Now, also, something to note is that it does have an infrared sensor. I don't know where. I think it's up here. Yeah, there she is. One strange thing is that it only turns on whenever the screen's off, which is very strange. So yeah, you could use this thing for controlling your TV. Next phone is the LG K20V, which is my grandpa's old phone, as I've looked or showed you guys before. Now, this thing is actually bigger than my J3. As you can see, it's slightly bigger. Because even if there's no home buttons, here's where the screen ends, like right here. If you look closely on the LCD, you'll see that it ends right there, and they're both at the same height. But yeah, this thing's a little bit bigger. So if you want a slightly bigger phone than like a regular 16:9 phone, then yeah, this will be nice. Now for speed, this actually runs okay. And another thing is that it runs a way more supported version of Android. It doesn't run Android 7.1.2, but it does run Android 7. However, that doesn't stop you from split screening. So if I have to do that while I'm in an app, but yeah. And yes, of course, I have to get Pixie Tracker on everything I get. Anyway, the camera on this is debatable. Oh, hello, me. Oh, God, I'm not used to the camera UI on this. I don't use an LG phone anymore. I had an LG phone as my main like 3 years ago. Yeah, not great for photos in terms of lag, but the video's okay. For storage wise, I think this can support up to 64 gigabytes of an SD card because I've had it work a couple of times, and then a couple of other times it would not work. I don't really know. Let me unlock it again. But for battery on this, yeah, my grandpa didn't treat this thing very well, so I can't really, I'm gonna lay down here. I can't really judge the battery very well, but I can tell it does last longer than the Tribute, so yeah. Now, at the start when I first got get out. Anyway, at the start when I first got this thing, the day I got it, the battery lasted like 30 minutes until it died. So then I let it fully charge, and that allowed the thing to actually calibrate the battery because, uh, again, these are their old phones and they were dead for 8 months, which is not very good for the battery, if you didn't know. But after I charged it, discharged it, and did all that a couple of times, now the battery lasts pretty well. I'll usually get about like for simpler apps like YouTube and whatnot. I'll usually get about 5 hours out of it, not much more. But chatting apps still does drain the battery in about a little more, a little bit more. Kind of a little. My voice, it's becoming raspy. Anyway, it lasts a little bit longer than the LG Tribute. So for this phone, it runs a not totally outdated version of Android. And the security is not too bad because if you guys know me, I've been modding games and modded stuff. Not all games, but just some games I like to play on my own time. Small games like Hill Climb Racing and whatnot. But I've been doing this for like 5 years, and I've not gotten a virus. Even on my Kindle with Android 5. So for security, you don't have to worry too much. You just have to be careful with clicking on links and, of course, all that stuff. So for security wise, it's not too bad. But also, this thing also has an infrared. So this can also be used as a TV remote. So now down to the last phone I have, which is the Samsung Galaxy J3 Achieve. I'm just going to take the back off here. Now, the original battery I actually had for this actually kind of blew up. So, yeah, not great. But, yeah. It's actually pretty dang fast for what it is. It's really responsive. And I think at one point this was like $40-$50 and then like 15, 20, 30, no, maybe around $30 with a carrier. I'm not sure. But the speaker on this is outstanding. It's got a lot of bass in it too. Mine crackles a little bit, and I think it's because I've been ramping Pixie Tracker full volume too much. Whoopsie. But anyways, yeah, this phone is actually really good. The camera is also pretty great and not very laggy. For chatting apps, it runs really well. Here we go. Yeah, it's not too bad. Now, I don't think this... Hush. I do not think this one has an infrared, but that's fine because guess what Android this is running? Android 9. Yes, this is running Android 9, which is ridiculous for like, and not to mention this thing has like 2 gigs of RAM, so that is pretty impressive. Anyway, for gaming, yeah, the latest version of Minecraft does lag, of course, but it runs okay. I was usually getting about like 15 FPS out of it, but I turned my graphic settings down and I started getting about 20, 25. And this supports a 256 gigabyte SD card. I kid you not. I don't know what Samsung did to this thing, but wow, they did a good job with it. So let me show you. Device care. I also finally made my own Samsung account, but I'm not using it on any of these phones. I actually used it to bypass an FRP phone, which is not completely bypassed yet. I still need to work on it. Anyway, this is a 16 gigabyte. I think you can get 32. There you go. There's proof. I've only used 1 gig. I transferred everything off of this stupid thing. I don't want to show all the images because some of them have Google account passwords in them. Yeah, most of them are just screenshots because I used to use this as my media device in terms of like listening to music and stuff before the original battery blew up. So then that got worse. But before the original battery blew up, I accidentally dropped it and it just had to land on the face. I had like 2 cracks on the screen before, but yeah. And like my routine for messed up devices, I removed the passcode so that way if it does break, I can just easily access AirDroid and open it so I can control it from my main. Enough blabbering though. Battery life. When I did have the original battery, because one of my friends bought this for me years ago for a birthday present, late birthday present though. Yeah, the battery on this, when I was a little kid, I remember I played some kind of, I don't know, I don't remember what games I played, but I think I played like Angry Birds and Bad Piggies, and I even played sorry about that, you'll hear my mom in the background. Anyway, but for this thing, I usually got like 7 hours, 8 hours out of gaming on it. I mean, of course, they weren't high power games, but it still lasted really long. And for even lighter weight apps, I usually get 10 hours out of it, which is even better. I'm not sure how that will perform with Android 9 now, because I think I had Android 7 or 8 at the time before they, because just last year they, no. In 2021, they released Android 9 for this thing. So that's nice. Samsung, I am so proud of you. Anyway, yeah, that's really all I can say about that. Oops, didn't mean to turn this on. Forgot that I had knock on so I can double tap it. Anyway, now, because this runs Android 9, it's past Android 8.1, which does mean you can get YouTube on it. Of course, I have YouTube revamped because I hate ads and they waste my data. I kid you not. Like, when I get like 3 ads, they waste my mobile data. Because I know I'm getting off track here, but for a second, let me talk about the future of my video quality. I'm no longer able to post in 1080p anymore, at least at home, because I just found out terrible news recently that we're starting to lose money to the point where we can't even use our mobile data, so I can only use 2 gigabytes per month. So, I mean, yeah, it's still possible for me to upload videos, but I would just literally have to prioritize my YouTube channel above other things, so yeah. I mean, we can use more, but every 10 gigabytes is $50, which is ridiculous. We really should switch to a different provider. Anyway. But, as you can see, though, my battery, it's getting a little sad over there. It's not doing too hot. So, why don't we just... This battery is not the original battery. It's an S4 battery that I took out of a broken S4 we have, because the original battery blew up. I do have the new battery now that I got for Christmas. It's actually bigger than the original battery in terms of capacity. Wow, this battery's stuck in there. Oh my god. Hey, there we go. Came out. Here's the battery. And then here's another S4 battery I took out of my dad's old phone. His finally died. Anyway, here is the new battery. I think I charged it at some point. So, let's put this in. And now that the battery's not bulging out, not because these are bulging, but this is not a compatible battery, so it sticks out. But now that it's not sticking out, wow, I can put the case back on. It looks nice, except for the destroyed camera. So now, if we power it back on, well, it actually boots up pretty fast. I mean, it'll look even faster when I cut it, but yeah. It boots up in about like 15 seconds, which is pretty good as well. These two usually take about 20, 30, around there. even if they don't have much stuff on there. Let alone, this has a 256 gigabyte SD card, and when I originally took it out and factory reset this thing after I did something wrong with it, and I downloaded too much crap and felt lazy, but when I factory resetted this thing, yeah, it took like 10 seconds to turn on. Well, no, not 10 seconds. Yeah. But that was before the carrier services, or that was without the carrier services. So, yeah, but I put them back on here on the stupid boot up thing because the phone didn't like it, so whatever. Anyway, but now, as you'll see, we have more battery power in an instant. No more, like, and even if you have a power bank, yeah, it doesn't turn on immediately when you plug it in. So yeah. Now, one of the reasons I'm not using my new battery and instead am using this battery still is because I want to conserve the lifespan of this battery I have. So that way in the future, if I get another J3, I can put the battery in there. Unless if that one already has a battery. But also, I want to keep that battery alive because this is still my backup phone for now. Because my Galaxy A01 that this girl at my school gave to me, named Kara, the Galaxy A01 is still FRP locked to some degree, and I need to wait for another Amber Alert or an emergency alert to come through. Because yeah, that's how I bypass the FRP. If you have a phone that's FRP locked, just wait for an Amber Alert, and then you can go into the contact settings. It's really easy after that point. Although for the Samsung phones, it's not the most easy, but for me, I was able to log into a Samsung account, which is the main reason I made one, so I can control the phone from here, from another tablet. Anyway, yeah, enough rambling about Samsung accounts and phones. Yeah, so that's the end of this video. It's a lot of rambling, but there's that. But yeah, those are some of the battery... Oh my god! Removable battery phones you can get. Honestly, in my opinion, I'd recommend the J3 Achieve at the end of the day. Because it runs Android 9, has a great sounding speaker, charges fast, has capacitive buttons, so no interrupting buttons on screen. And, oh, hush. It's got a really good camera, really good screen. Oh, shush. Go away. Anyway, yeah. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you whenever I post or get time to post.